Hello, cool cats, and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I am Underhook, and this is my review of the Tier 4 German tank destroyer, the Hetzer. Seen here in psychedelic camouflage. So, is it any good? It's groovy. So yes, a very good tank destroyer, and now that I've driven this, I can answer the burning question. When I did my T40 review, the American Tier 4 tank destroyer, I said that it was the best Tier 4 tank, hands down. And in fact, I have my highest Top Gun ratio in that tank. A lot of people came out and said, or a few people anyway at least, came out and said, no way, the Hetzer is far better. The derp gun is awesome, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, okay, so one day I'll have to drive the Hetzer. And the reason I ended up getting the Hetzer was because I won that Stug 4, and I didn't have any German TDs, and I didn't want to train them to the Stug 4 because then I'd have to retrain the crew to some other TD. So I went out and bought the Hetzer, trained the girl crew to this tank, and I can still use them to Stug 4 as well because that's premium. It doesn't matter what tank they're trained for. So anyway, that's why I bought the Hetzer, and it's been very, very good. But in my opinion, it's nowhere near as good as the T40. Whilst this is very, very good, the T40 is just outstanding. So yeah, anyway, here is the review. It has 270 hit points, which is about average for a Tier 4 TD. The most goes to the French Samoa SAU-40 at 280, and boy, it needs those hit points. And the worst would be the Stug 3, the other German Tier 4 tank destroyer, and SU-85B. They only have 260 hit points. Weighing in at around 17 ton to 18 ton, this thing is about average for weight as well. But feel free to ram like the Electo, because that's only about 8 ton. You can ram the Marder and the SU-85B without any problem, but do not, under any circumstances, ram the other German TD, the Stug. That weighs about 24 ton, and the T40 is around 22 tons, so stay away from those guys. Speed-wise, it clocks up at 42 kilometers an hour in forward and 11 in reverse. Now, the 42 in forward is about average. The slowest is the Samoa SAU-40 at 37, not too far behind, and the fastest is the M8A1 at 58, which is pretty damn quick. The M8A1 is also the fastest in reverse at 20 kilometers an hour. This one only does 11 in reverse, which is second slowest. The Stug does 10 in reverse. I'm talking about the reverse speed a little bit more than I'd like to, but the reason I'm talking about it is because it's a problem with this tank. This tank has quite a few problems. Now, it makes up for them by having good armor, fantastic gun selection, and great camouflage. But it definitely has some flaws, and one of them is its reverse speed, coupled with its very small gun traverse, which I'll talk about in a minute. It means that you can't like half pop out from around a rock and shoot someone. You have to basically bring your entire tank out and directly face whoever you're going to shoot at. Then shoot at them. Then you're pretty much definitely spotted, and you've got to try and back around a rock again and pretty much expose the side of your tank as you do it at 11 kilometers an hour. It can often be the end of the game for you. So that's a problem. Pretty much once you're pointing at a tank and shooting at them, you pretty much have to stay there and hope you can bounce some shots. That's what I found anyway. Now, the track traverse on this tank is also terrible, which is another problem when you're trying to back out of danger. Not only do you have to back out, but you have to turn as well, and it's only 30 degrees a second, which is the worst in class. Well, equal worst. The Samoa SAU-40 is also 30 degrees a second. The best is the Marder and the Electo, both have 42 degrees a second. Now, however, as bad as it is, I've found though that any light tanks or medium tanks that were trying to circle me, I was able to keep my gun pointed at them the whole time. So it was never that bad that I couldn't protect myself, but it does create problems when you're trying to get out of trouble. Now, the gun arc that I spoke about before, the amount the gun moves from side to side, is awful. It is 20 degrees. Now, the worst is the Samoa SAU-40 with only 15 degrees, and that is a terrible TD in my opinion. But the best is, of course, the M8A1, because that has a fully traversable turret. But the next best, I think it actually might be 180 degrees traversable turret. Anyway, the next best would be the T40 with 57 degrees, which is one of the reasons why the T40 is a much better TD than this. The T40 can pop out halfway behind a rock and point its gun at you and only expose half the tank and then just back away at 14 kilometers an hour. This guy can't do that. Also, what that means is a moving target at range with only 20 degrees gun traverse, you have to keep turning your tank to adjust your aim when you're trying to hit a moving tank. And that means you have to keep re-aiming the gun, which means you get less shots off. It also means, though, that you blow your stationary camouflage every time you turn your tracks. And if you've got a camouflage net fitted, which I have, you also lose your camouflage net bonus. The T40, all you do is just move your gun and keep all of your camouflage bonuses while you're shooting. So even though this has better camouflage than the T40, you end up exposing yourself a lot more. Now the view range, the view range on this is also atrocious, which means if you're hiding in a bush at range, unless someone's spotting for you, there's a good chance you won't see them. 260 meters is the worst in class. The best in class is the Samoa SA40 with 330 and the Electo with 330. And the second worst in class is really the T40 itself with 310, and the Stug and the SA40, they all have 310. So 260, it's way, way, way behind. The T40, by the way, used to have about 390 or 400 meter view range. It was way OP, so probably a good thing that they nerfed it back. So the signal range, though, is pretty good at 615 meters. So that's fortunate because it means that scout tanks that are relaying messages back to you, you can receive them loud and clear, which is fortunate. The worst in class is the Stug with only 433 meter signal range. The best is the M8A1 with 782. Camouflage wise, as I said, this tank is very, very good. It's the second best camouflage in tier 4 TDs. The best is the Electo. This comes in next best, not actually far behind the Electo. The worst in class is the Samoa SAU40. So yeah, and it does need the camouflage, this tank. Now let's have a quick look at the grind for the tank. I'll try and speed this up, I'm taking a bit long. You definitely need to get the tracks because the track traverse is terrible. You definitely need the engine to help speed up your track traverse. You have two guns to choose from. They are both very, very good guns, so you won't have any trouble either way. The one on the left is the Hetzer style gun, a 105mm, and the one on the right, 75mm gun, is the single shot style gun. Now, the Hetzer style gun has a 6.98 rate of fire, which is not too bad. Not as quick as the Hetzer style gun on the T40, but it's pretty good. 64mm of pen on AP ammo if you want to use it with 350 damage. You won't be able to pen much with that 64 AP, but it's good if you have to shoot through walls and stuff, because the HE and heat ammo will simply explode on the wall and won't penetrate. So it's good if you need to use it for that. Other than that, it's useless. 53mm on the HE ammo with 410 damage, which is pretty massive and will allow you to decimate in a tier. If you're top tier, you will smash tanks with it. 104 penetration on the heat is massive with 350 damage, which will enable you to penetrate tanks at tier 5 and 6. Now, as you know, I don't generally use that ammo unless absolutely necessary. I don't think I've fired a single heat round whilst playing it, but if you wanted to use it, you could still be quite effective at the higher tiers with this gun. 0.53 accuracy is terrible, but a 1.7 second aim time is awesome. And you need the fast aiming time because you've pretty much got to use this at close range. This gun is, in my opinion, not suited to this tank because at longer ranges you have to keep moving your tracks, you have to keep re-aiming, and one of the worst things that can happen to you when firing HE is losing your aim because it's inaccurate anyway, and you have to loop your shots as well. Makes it really difficult to hit anything that's moving with this gun. The other gun is the single shot gun, which is an excellent gun. 15.3 out of 5, which is excellent. 110 mils of penetration, 110 damage, which is also excellent. All of those stats are not as good as the T40 gun, but it does have better accuracy in the T40 at 0.37 versus I think 0.41. Same aiming time of 1.7, which is excellent, and yeah, the accuracy is excellent. Great gun for long range sniping without accuracy. It works really, really well. 158 if you wanted to use premium ammunition is very, very good. So yeah, great work on this tank. So we're going to have a quick look at Tank Inspector to look at the armor, which is pretty good on this, and then I'll get into some gameplay. I will talk though quickly about the crew. I have the all-girl crew, which is fantastic, and I'll talk about them when I do the Stug 4 review, but they all have Sisterhood of Steel, which is the same as the Brothers in Arms, which gives the tank 5% better crew skills across the board for all the crew. I have 6 cents on the commander and 80% camouflage. I have 100% camouflage, as well as sisterhood, of course. 100% camouflage and 80% repairs. I have 100% camouflage and 79% off-road driving. 100% camouflage and 79% repairs. Now, some of them may have a little bit less skill than that in the gameplay. Like this third skill won't be as high, but the first 2 skills will be the same. I have vents fitted, further boosting the crew skills by another 5%, which is why you can see the girls here have 121%, except for the commander 110. I have binoculars and camouflage net fitted, small repair kit, large repair kit, and large first aid kit fitted. Let's get into Tank Inspector. The Hetzer in Tank Inspector. Let's get into that colorized view and have a look at the armor. The armor is exceptionally good on the front, and it's exceptionally well sloped, of course. So if I get, let's say we'll go a little bit higher than gun height, because most tanks are a bit taller than you. This is a pretty low tank. So the lower plate is 60mm thick, and it's coming up at about 67. Now, a lot of tanks can penetrate that, but at tier 3, there's a lot of tanks, tier 3 tanks will have trouble penning you on the lower plate. If you keep the front of your tank to them, it's very hard for them to penetrate you. Now, the upper plate, though, is giving us around about 78 to 80mm of armor, and that's quite effective even against a lot of tier 5 tanks. Once you get tier 6 and 7, most of them will punch a hole through it, but it kind of depends. If you can angle it a little bit, it'll increase it, but really when it's angled, you can't return fire because your gun just doesn't move. Let's actually have a look at that gun. That's it. So let's see, there we are. So the gun's pointing at us now, and that's about the maximum you can angle your tank. Let's go this way a little bit and see if we can get the gun. Well, it goes further in this direction, it looks like, so not quite that far. There you go, about there somewhere is about as far as you can angle the tank. So you're not going to get a lot of angling increase if you want to return fire. And you really don't want to expose the side of the tank anyway, it's very weak. Now, so we've got pretty good armor up here. The mantlet is awesome because it's 60mm overlaying 60mm of armor, which comes up really good. And even tier 6 tanks, look at that, will bounce off your mantlet, which is another tactic because the gun is mounted on the side. If you can get a wall on this side and protect this side of your tank with a wall or a rock, and they've only got this side to shoot from, particularly if you also hull down, they can't get your lower plate, they've only got this section to shoot at, you can bounce a heck of a lot of shots off your mantlet. Now, if you are in a light tank and you want to take this tank down, aim here. So just between the tracks and the body, let's see what that looks like without the colorized view. So this area here is only 20mm thick. It's basically where the transmission, where the drives go to the wheels, to drive the wheels. You'll probably track the tank or could also damage the transmission, I'm guessing. I don't know that for a fact. But it's only 20mm, so any scout tank can take that out if your gun's accurate enough, or you find that you're trying to circle it but it's staying with you. Try shooting in there, and there's a chance you may track it as well, and then then you'll be able to get its side as well. So moving on to the side of the tank, the whole side of the tank is only 20mm, so you can't stop anything with the side of your tank. You really do have to keep the front facing your tank, which is also why I said you pop out and have a shot, then you've got to turn your tank and try and back behind the rock, and you're giving them all of this. And if it happened to track you there as well, you're stuffed with this exposed to them. So I have found once you are spotted and you're in front of a tank, you basically just got to stay there until you either die or you kill them. Rear of the tank is only 8mm, so artillery hitting you from the rear or anybody shooting from the rear will blow you away. HE ammunition from the side or rear one-shots this tank in most cases, and the rest of the top is there as well. A great news though, the front is very strong and there is no cupola, but instead of a cupola, you have these drive shafts. Alright, let's get into some gameplay. Just before we get into the gameplay, I want to show you some clips of the L28 gun, the howitzer gun firing HE ammunition. There's no heat fire, just HE ammunition, to show you how much damage you can do against various tanks and hitting various parts of tanks. So quick clips of that. Then I've got a couple of games with that gun, and then we've got our final game with the L48 gun. Let's do it.
Got him. Penetration. Enemy armor is damaged. Penetration. Enemy armor is hit. Enemy armor. Penetration. Time to roll out.
The map is Redshire. I'm in my tier 4 Hetzer, and it's a tier 6 game, and we'll have the derp gun or the howitzer style gun fitted, so it's a good chance to see how this thing does. There's how many tier 6 tanks on enemy team? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 5 tier 6 tanks? And a few tier 5s and the rest are tier 4s. So gives a chance to see how to use this gun at a higher tier and see if the gun is viable at this tier. Now, of course, in a tier 6 game, your hit points don't count for much. Look at the difference in size compared to that SU-100Y. Crikey. Your hit points don't count for much, so I'll just speed this up a little bit while I move into position. Your hit points don't count for much, so you really can't afford to be seen when you're in a tier 6 match. But you can still be effective with this howitzer gun. I'll just slide back down to normal speed again now. So I'm just hoping that somebody pops over here and gets spotted and I can get a free shot on a stationary target. It is difficult to hit moving targets with this type of gun. And the way I've positioned myself here where the rock is... Oh, Martyr, perfect.
Critical hit.
We only did 108. We kind of missed the soft part of his armor. Might have hit his gun there. And I back away. I have now been spotted. There is a Hetzer sitting here though. Our equivalent. And we get a nice one into his frontal armor. Now with a Hetzer, if you hit a Hetzer in the side or the rear, they will explode and be a one-shot kill. So you have to be very careful exposing your sides to anybody who's got a derp gun. So we hit him in the front, which is why he didn't take that much damage. So yeah, where I'm positioning my tank, I'll just show you. I'm positioning it so that that's what my enemy can see if they're in front of me. So I'm covering up most of my tank. The mantlet is very strong, so I'm trying to make it so that if they do shoot at that part of my tank, they're going to hit my mantlet. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit again to 2 times. I might actually go to 4 times now. I think I stay here for a little while, being very cautious being in a tier 6 match. Like I say, you can be one shot and 2 shot by tanks. Okay, slow it down again now to normal speed. Now I'm going to speed it up again to 4 times. Okay, now I'm slowing it back down to normal speed here. I think we're trying to get around and see if we can get a shot on this Matilda. And I see the Matilda backing away, so I decided to go for his Electo, because I know the Electo is a one-shot kill. I take some hits from the Matilda, thinking, you know, I can probably take a few hits, but nearly kills me. I've only got 16 hit points left, so I took a huge risk there. Felt like it took forever to aim at that Electo, but maybe it was worth it. We took it out, and we're still alive. Matilda's been taken out by somebody else, so it's good. Matilda, a tier 4 tank. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to kill the Matilda with a single shot. And when I saw it backing away, I thought, oh. And I saw the Electo, I thought, alright, I'll stay here, get the Electo. Because I was going to take shots from Matilda even if I backed away anyway. So I thought, well, if I'm going to die, I might as well take the Electo out. As it turned out, we managed to actually back away and survive. Very lucky. Now, here is a demonstration of how, if a tank is moving, it's very hard to hit it with this howitzer gun. You really need them to be stationary. Especially at range. Close range it's alright, but at range like that sort of range, if they keep moving back and forward, or from side to side, really, really hard to hit them because it takes a little while to aim, and also with this tank having a very narrow gun reverse, if they move too much, you have to keep moving your tracks and you keep losing your aim. It's very, very difficult indeed. So this is a good way of demonstrating that point. Now, if I had the normal, sort of AP gun fitted, I probably would have already put 1 or 2 shots into the side of this VK, into its turret. But with this gun, it's much more difficult. Because you can't just say, oh, fire, and hope he runs into my shot with this sort of thing. You really need to, unless you can aim at the ground that they're going to go over. With the Hauser style gun, because of the high arc, it'll just go over the tank. If it was an AP gun, you can actually aim sort of through where they're going to pass, the area they're going to pass through. Alright, well, this time he's in trouble. So we finally get the kill. There's someone else hits him just before us as well, so we only do, what, 30 something damage. But anyway, Artie having a shot at us there. Oh, another shot at us. Oh, and that was somebody else, because Artie couldn't have reloaded that quick. Okay, well, there's Artie. Aim, 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 and you really need your indicator on the tank to fire, so slow-moving tanks like that are very good. AT2 could tear us apart, very well armoured, so let's see what we can do to an AT2 with HE shells. First one hits the stone part of the fence and doesn't go through, of course, because it's HE. Second shot, 75's not bad on that tank. Oh, he misses us. That looked like a HE shell. It travelled very slowly, and we get the kill. So there you go. Can be effective at tier 6. That turned out to be a class 1 game. And let's have a look at the next screen. So we finished on top for our team on XP. We obviously didn't do the highest amount of damage, but we were a tier 4 in a tier 6 game, so that of course always helps. We fired 9 shots, 7 of them hit, so the accuracy holds out pretty well. I found with a few of these tanks, the same with the Panzer IV-H at tier 5, some of these derp guns, they are much more accurate than the stats show. However, it's very hard to hit moving tanks, but the actual accuracy of the gun is much better. Whereas that new BT7 artillery that's just come in the game at tier 3, that's 0.6 accuracy, that really is 0.6 accuracy. It's terrible. But this thing here is more accurate than it says. We did 671 damage. We received 5 hits, 4 of which penetrated, so the armor didn't hold up very well for us at this tier. We did block a little bit though. We spotted 2 vehicles, damaging 6, destroying 4, and did a little bit of assistance damage as well. As you can see, very profitable tank, insofar as most of what you earn you keep. And we got 788 XP, is it? And that was enough for a class 1 in the tank. We're in the Hetzer again, and this time instead of being bottom tier, we're on Himmelsdorf and we're top tier. Tier 4 game. There are quite a few tier 3 tanks in the game as well. And you know what that means, don't you? Yes, we're going to blow up some tanks. So let's just speed this up a little bit while we get up the hill. On 4 times here, 2 times, and normal speed. Oh, look at that, a DW2 with 50mm of armor. Can we penetrate it? Lower plate? Apparently, yes we can. 440 damage. That was a pretty good damage roll, because I think that was a standard shell. So, HE shell, I think the average damage is 410. And there we hit the martyr. So yeah, getting 440, we were pretty lucky to get the one-shot kill on that DW2. I feel sorry for anybody driving a DW2. That is a horrible tank, in my opinion. Anyway, the Panzer SFL in front of us gets hit by artillery, which means artillery is probably down the bottom of this hill. There he is. He's running. Clever man. So you can see that, in a tier 4 game, you can make a huge difference with this gun. There's another Hetzer next to me that also has a derp gun, simply because you can just smash tanks so quickly that your team like this is able to just run through. And finishing off the Hetzer there, taking its remaining health of, what was it, 191. The armor on the front of this tank also holds up pretty well at tier 4, so you can bounce a lot of shots too, and you can kind of be a bit of a bully like this with it in tier 4. It's really just a matter of racing around to try and get the shots on the enemies before anybody else does. And there's another tank. Now, I think we've fired 4 shots and we have 3 kills. The other one, we didn't quite kill the grill, I think. So yeah, it is a bit in tier 4, matter of just racing around trying to get to tanks in time. However, Panzer 4H could 1 kill us. Hey, isn't that a tier 5 tank? Oh no, Panzer 4H is a tier 4 tank. No, it is a tier 5 tank. Oh, I lie, folks. It's a tier 5 game, not a tier 4 game, but it's only 1 in the game. Now this Panzer 38 TNA, I reckon that should have just exploded, but we only did 124. Don't know why that happened. Anyway, he explodes now. But he made us waste a shot. I think we hit his mantlet with the first shot, and that's why it didn't fully penetrate. And that is the end of the game. We just didn't get to see enough tanks. So that was a Class 1 game, and we got high caliber in that game as well. Next screen, and we finished on top for XP, and well on top for damage as well. Fired 7 shots, 6 of them hit and penetrated apparently, or not necessarily penetrated, but did damage anyway. 1,143 damage in a tier 4 tank isn't too bad. Blocked a shot and did damage to 5 tanks, destroying 4 of them. 11 assistance damage, and as you can see, once again, you keep most of what you earn. 807 XP was enough for a Class 1.
Time to roll out.
The map is Arctic region. We're in our tier 4 Hetzer, and it's a tier 5 game. The enemy has 7 tier 5 tanks, including 4 heavies, so it's a bit of a tough ask for the Hetzer. We do not have the howitzer gun fitted. No, we have the single shot gun fitted, which I think is 110 pen and 110 damage, average damage, off the top of my head. Or 103 pen, 110 I think. Anyway, I much prefer this gun because it's more consistent in its damage, it's more reliable, and because it allows you to shoot at range and more easily hit moving targets at range. But anyway, I was going to go with the M4s going. I see the M4s going there. That was my preferred position, so I decided to go up the top here instead and stay in cover and hopefully be able to shoot some tanks at range without being detected. We do have a good camouflage rating, and I have got a camouflage net, so let's hope we don't get spotted. I might speed it up here a little bit to 4 times. Okay, so the M7 doesn't, our tank doesn't get any good spots, and these tanks that I'm looking at here, I'll slow it down again, are behind the mountain over there, and I don't have a shot. And surprisingly, the M7 didn't spot anyone, I'm not spotting anyone, and there's just nothing to shoot at here. However, it looks like we're in trouble on the flank here. The enemy did have more heavies than us. They have 4 tier 5 heavies and we only had 2. And it looks like we're in a bit of trouble, which is to be expected, I guess. I'm just speeding up to 2 times again now. I was at normal speed there for a little while. And normal speed now. We can see that cupola, and we hit it. And that's the difference between this gun and HE, where this gun you can pull off shots like that with .37 accuracy. I back right away here because I do not want to get hit by artillery. If artillery hits the back of this tank, I will die with 1 shot. So wait till I'm no longer spotted and move back into position. Now the BDR is my favourite tier 5 heavy tank, and that's one of the reasons why it has very good armour. It also has a fantastic gun. So we hit the side of the BDR there, but angled, it has 80 mils of armour, and when it's angled it comes up quite thick and it's hard to penetrate. And then we missed the other tank as well, so see if we can get this Lux. And we get a nice shot on him, doing 115 damage. I back away again. I hope this BDR doesn't hit me. And now I'm lining him up. He's looking at me. Well, we bounced off him, but amazingly, he bounced off us. This time we get one into him, and he's nearly dead. So I'm going to stay in front of him. Oh, he bounced again. Come on, come on, come on. No, but the A20 moves in front and takes the shot for us. We get another one into the A20. We have just got some splash damage from the grill. Oh no, we are dead. Oh, we get one through his turret because the turret he cannot angle. It's 80 mils, but we've got more than 80 mils of pen. He's dead thanks to our teammates and us. T1 heavy, he could kill us. He's put one into us. Oh no, I've got to be dead here. And the other BDR, all the heavies. He bounced. We've killed the BDR. We've killed the T1 Heavy. There's the A20. He doesn't even know we're here. We've got... Can you believe it? How the heck did I survive that? Alright, this Lux could waste me. Oh no, he's bounced. He hasn't got the auto cannon. He hasn't got enough pen to get through the front of our tank. I've just got to keep the front of my tank to him and he can't pen me. And my teammate helps me out there. Whew. Marta helped me out there. Wow, that was pretty intense. Let's see where we got penetrated. Okay, you can see the lower plate there. Under the gun on the lower plate was the only one that penetrated. All the others, the mantlet and the top plate, everything bounced. Now we've got a KV-1S here which has just killed the Marta. Artillery's firing at me but missing, fortunately. I've got a Wolverine on my right and I can see the Wolverine coming, so I'm going to... Artillery's also hit the KV-1S, so I'm just waiting for that Wolverine to get into position, and when the KV-1S shoots at the Wolverine, I'm going to come round. I'm trying to also maneuver because I think I'm being auto-spotted, I'm not sure. Proximity spotted, so I'm just trying to get in a position where I'm not spotted. Here we go. Now, waiting for the Wolverine to put pressure. Oh, artillery's hit him. I'm waiting for him to fire at the Wolverine so I can fire back, but we didn't pen, and I noticed that the Wolverine on our team actually has just been killed, so I can't rely on the Wolverine anymore. So I need to keep this guy spotted for artillery because artillery is doing an awesome job. So I'm going to try and proximity spot him here, using this dead tank for cover. The only thing is I'm also worried that their artillery is going to hit me, so I get spotted myself and back away now. But he's coming out. Can I use Cupola? Yes, I can. Alright, the only thing remaining now on the enemy team is artillery, which is why I'm backing up this hill. And then running. And I had some good backup in this game, some good support, which enabled me. So that was a mastery game, as you'd probably expect, and was high caliber as well. Let's have a look at the next screen. So yes, we finished on top for XP and on top for damage. Only just so the KV-1S in our team, whoa, what did we win by? 31 points of damage, so pretty close there. Did a good job actually, considering they had 4 heavy tanks. Our KV-1S did a good job and he managed to survive the game as well. And we fired 19 shots, 18 of them hit, which is a testament to the .37 accuracy of this gun. Of the 18 hit, 14 penetrated, which in a tier 5 game is pretty good. So you can see that the angled BDR G1B, the French tank's armour, we couldn't pen. But the turret, which is 80 mils, he couldn't really angle the turret, so we were able to pen that at will. And actually managed to get a couple into the hull when it wasn't angled as well, so did alright there. 1,384 damage is pretty good in a tier 4 tank. We received 5 hits, only one of them penetrated. I think that was from the T1, got us in the lower plate. The lower plate is much easier to pen than the upper plate, of course, as you saw in Tank Inspector. So we bounced 422 damage, which is pretty good in this tank because it's only got 270 hit points. Enemy vehicles, we damaged 6, destroying 4, did a little bit of assistance damage, and once again, most of what we make is profit. 1,013 XP is mastery in this tank. Thank you for watching my review of the German Tier 4 TD, the Hetzer. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.